When it comes to Gundam, there are so many ways to go. And when I mean go, I mean go. Whether it be through combat in a mobile suit, innocent bystanders caught in the fray, or someone just unlucky enough to be an underling at a bad time with a very angry superior. Being in Gundam, there are so many different ways you can disappear. So with that being said, today we're going to cover 5 different ways you can brutally go out in Gundam. Number 5, tummy and headache. At the number 5 start, we're going to go with Nickel from Gundam Seed. One of the most brutal ways you could possibly go out is by sword to the stomach. And just yikes. I mean, guy literally took a heat blade to the stomach and it just sat there until his whole helmet filled up with his blood. That's not a savory way to go out in any aspect. And the fact that he went out trying to save Athron makes it a lot more effective, because Nickel was the most innocent character of the Le Creuset team, so to speak. And I quote, "He was 15! He played the piano!" Number 4, crushed and blown away. On the number 4 spot, we have a very special person that I care so much about, even though she's quite evil. Miss Shima from Gundam Stardust Memory. Now, how she goes out is very brutal, and I don't say she deserved it, but she kind of did, considering she wouldn't leave Ko alone. In their final confrontation, during the commence of Operation Stardust, Shima decides to go after Ko when he releases a demolition chain from Gundam GPO-3. She flies at him and she fires her beam cannon and sprays a lot of bullets at him. She hits him and it does damage him, but it more or less pisses Ko off more than anything. Ko pulls the lever and it activates the cannon on his his Gundam, and she crashes straight into the barrel of the cannon, crushing pretty much her inside of the mobile suit, knocking the wind out of her, and then and to boot, dude blows her in half, like disintegrates her in half, like this. But that is a very brutal way to go out in Gundam. And number 3 on the list is another sentimental character for me, even though she had a very short screen time. Commander Top from Mobile Suit Gundam 8th MS Team. Now, during this episode, Shiro had to make the decision of whether he was a traitor to the Federation or a loyal person. And in this episode, a lot of stuff happened. I'm not going to ruin it for anyone who hasn't seen it, because when I tell you, this is probably one of my favorite episodes of the series, or the OVA, I'm sorry. Needless to say, Top goes out with a literal bang, and she cooks alive in her cockpit by RPG fire. Very brutal way to go. If you've seen Black Hawk Down, then you will know exactly what I mean. If you've seen, say, We Were Soldiers, the deleted scenes, you'll know. Yeah, being cooked alive by an RPG is not a good way to go out, and that was very brutal, especially because the character was very sentimental. At number 2, we have the Drop Shot. Gundam Wing is by far the most recognizable Gundam series in the US, and that was pretty much the first Gundam series that came outside of VHSs in the store. But when it comes to toned down kills, even the death of General Septim was quite brutal and over the top. After the Gundams realize that they are a group and they destroy and wipe out the entire Alliance base, Treize and Lady Un take General Septim on their private transport, and they have him relay a message through broadcast. After General Septim finishes the broadcast, he sits in regret, only for Lady Un to say that they are no longer needing him, and they drop him from the transport. As General Septim is falling from the transport, Lady Un pulls out her pistol and fires into his head. Very brutal way to go out, because not only are you falling to your death in fear and confusion, you're watching someone pull a gun out on you and pop you in the head. And for number one, the most classic way to go out in Gundam, but not the least brutal, is vaporization. For this one, there were so many things I could have picked, but the one that stuck with me to this day, and I mind you, I don't mean to spoil this for anyone, but if you have seen this, Gundam Thunderbolt. This one particular scene took me a minute to process. After taking the remaining Zeon soldier remnants hostage, there was a confrontation with the doctor who created the Psychozaku and a couple of other scientists with the Federation troops. At this point, the dialogue is so good, you zone out until the point that the shock value kicks in at what you see. And when I tell you, it sticks. It sticks, man. Like, bro. And the music helps the atmospheric tone as well. Like, it gives you no time to breathe within that moment, which is why vaporization is number one on this list. So with that being said, this is the first list. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Please leave a like, comment, and subscribe. Tell me what you guys would like to see in the top 5 or top 10. There's plenty of things to cover in the Gundam universe. There's also other mecha anime like Robotech. I could watch that whole series. There's Blue Gender. I love Blue Gender. I watch that religiously. I haven't seen Code Geass yet, so if you guys recommend that, I will watch that and I will cover that. There's things like Pat Labor, Space Battleship Yamato, Gall Force, and even sci-fi horror movies like Root Search and Lily Cat. There's so much to cover in the mecha and sci-fi world, man. Just leave what you guys prefer to hear and watch, man. I'm having fun doing this, and I'm not doing it for money. I do it because I enjoy it. So, with that said, thank you, fellow pilots and personnel. And also, thanks to Kakarot197 for inspiring this video. This is Funazaki. Ikimasu.